My apologies, 6 minutes after 7. I would like to welcome you all to the regular meeting of the Bedminster Township Committee for April the 2nd, 2018. We have our entire committee with us tonight. And Ms. Sullivan, can I get the Open Public Meeting Act statement?
Yes, sir. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville and to the Burnsville News in Whippany, to all subscribers, and also posted here at the Municipal Building as of January 8th, 2018.
I'll ask you all to join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have two sets of meeting minutes to review and approve. Both are from our March 19th meeting, our regular session, and our executive session. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
We have a few permits and raffles tonight. We have a social affair permit for the Special Olympics of New Jersey, June the 4th, 2018. Fiddler's Elbow Country Club, 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Also a social affair permit for Mainstream, Inc. on June the 2nd, 2018, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's at the Red Tail Farm, 1100 Rattlesnake Bridge Road. A social affair permit for the American Cancer Society, Inc. on May the 5th, 2018, 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., Hamilton Farm Golf Club. A social affair permit for the New Jersey Turfgrass Foundation, May the 7th, 2018, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., that's at the Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. Social affair permit for Meredith Scott, Lamington Presbyterian Church, May 11th, 2018, 6 p.m., 10 p.m., Lamington Presbyterian Church, 355 Lamington Road. Social affair permit for Hunterdon Healthcare Foundation, May the 16th, 2018, 10 a.m., 4 p.m., Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. An off-premise merchandise raffle license for the American Cancer Society, May 5th, 2018, Hamilton Farm Golf Club, 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. An on-premise merchandise raffle for the Hunterdon Healthcare Foundation, May the 16th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Fiddler's Elbow. An on-premise 50/50 raffle license, Hunterdon Healthcare Foundation, May 16th, 8 a.m., 5 p.m., Fiddler's Elbow. And finally, an on-premise merchandise raffle, also for the Hunterdon Healthcare Foundation, May the 16th, 2018, 8 a.m., 5 p.m., Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion for the whole list.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Twice every meeting, we open this meeting up to members of the public that wish to make a comment. That microphone and that podium there is open to you. Come to the microphone, state your name, state your address, and state your piece. Seeing none, there will be another opportunity at the end of the meeting. Let's go to our monthly subcommittee reports. We'll start with Referee Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. No meetings since last meeting, so I've got nothing to report for subcommittees, but I'll hit the basketball game on open business later on.
All right. Mr. Hickey.
Mayor, good evening. Thank you. The Master Plan Committee will be delivering its report, long-awaited report, to the Land Use Board this Thursday, and we encourage all members of the public, if they're available, to please attend. And that is all.
All right. Mr. Jacobs.
Mayor, I'll talk about the farmers market under old business. The Environment Commission chair is right over there. We've been meeting this week to meet with Dave Banish to do the reevaluation of the municipal open space master plan. So I'll be getting comments to Dave on Wednesday. And tomorrow the Ag Advisory Committee has a meeting, this time not on farmers market, but actually a meeting with the county planning department and with the state ag board to talk about initiatives and funding opportunities both from the state and from the ag board. And that meeting will be tomorrow. That's all I have.
All right. Ms. Santucci.
Thank you, Mayor. I haven't had any meetings since last meeting, so I don't have an update at this point.
All right. I don't have any meetings to report, but just two things. I'll let, I said Referee Stevenson, because usually he's the coach of the 8th grade basketball team, but this year he was the ref. I'll let him talk about that later. But a couple events since we met last. The Far Hills Easter egg hunt, run by the Far Hills Bedminster Fire Department and our rec department, was again a huge hit. The weather helped, but I think the enthusiasm helped more. Somebody made the comment, and John, you might want to write this down. If we could give the preschoolers to fifth graders, a little piece of chocolate for every either leaf or stick they pick up, you might have a lot solved, because there was several thousand eggs on the parade field, and in about 30 seconds there were none. So, and by the way, the other thing is a shout out to the DPW. Again, another fine job this morning. There's a lot of plowing, a lot of heavy snow. The roads were a bit of a challenge today, but your folks did a nice job again, so thank you. And that's all I have. Go to our administrator's report.
Couple little things. Our website continuing to be updated. We're still working with Google. Our old website is turned off. When you Google bedminster.us, Google doesn't have it there yet. We had to get, maybe Mr. Hickey knows what I'm talking about, an SSL certificate.
Yes.
That was supposed to be in place by today. So we hope to have this resolved shortly. So it's taking a little bit longer than we thought to get that in place, but everything's going really well. Everything else. Our shared municipal court will be hopefully moving to this room next Tuesday, the 10th, is the planned date. Everything is in place. John Mance and I met with an inspector from the state who came in to inspect the room last week. We passed with flying colors. He made a few minor suggestions, but they were just that, suggestions. And he said it's one of the nicest court facilities he's ever seen. So that's kind of nice. And I don't have this on my report, but today was the last day for petitions for this year's election, today at 4 o'clock. I will, Dick from Burnsville News already called me, but I'll announce we have, for Township Committee, the two candidates are Lawrence Jacobs, running again, and Renee Moreski from our Environmental Commission. And on the Democrats, we have Denise King and a young gentleman by the name of Jacob Kaplan from Village Green. So those are the four candidates running for Township Committee. And then, of course, this year is the year that the municipal committees are also running. So we have quite a lot of petitions I need to go through this week and certify to the counties. So today's a big day. They were knocking on the door at 8 o'clock this morning with the snow. So.
Yeah, I'm sure the snow made a lot of folks nervous. All right, very good. All right, thank you. Discussion on introduced ordinances. We don't have any, but we do have one ordinance to introduce, and that is ordinance 2018-004. It's an ordinance authorizing the engineering design for improvements to Hillside Avenue. This ordinance will provide funding for the first phase engineering design for a 2018 capital project for improvements to Hillside Avenue, for which the township has received an NJDOT fiscal year 2017 municipal aid program grant for the amount of $190,000. Public hearing for this ordinance is scheduled April 16th, 2018, 7 p.m., Municipal Building, 1 Miller Lane, that is here in Bedminster. Do you have any comments or questions? If not, I'd like to get a motion to introduce 2018-004.
So moved.
Second.
This would be a roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye. Public hearing on ordinances. We do have one ordinance tonight for public hearing, and that is ordinance 2018-003. It is an ordinance to establish the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. That's NJSA 40A14-45.14. This ordinance provides that a municipality may, when authorized by ordinance, appropriate the difference between the amount in its actual final appropriation and the 3.5% percentage rate as an exception to its final appropriation in either of the next two succeeding years. What does that mean? Well, if you have an extraordinary circumstance and you've done well with your 2% cap in previous years, you can take the difference between the 2% that you can go to and what you actually went to, and you can take that amount and set it aside, not dollars, but just a figure. And then if you have an extraordinary year that you have to go above 2% in your budget, you can use that money that you went under the 2% cap, and you can then exceed the 2% cap without having to go to a vote. That doesn't mean there's physically money there, it just allows you to break the, push the boundaries of the 2% cap a little bit because you've done well in the past. And we are in a year where we won't get to the 2%. In fact, we'll talk about that shortly. So we have the opportunity to do such. Having said that, I would like to open the public hearing for ordinance 2018-003. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Is there any member of the public that wishes to be heard, comment, question, anything on 2018-003? If not, is there anybody on the dais wants to comment on it?
I just wanted to follow up on a question we had last time about aggregating the years, and I noticed we've got our
We have two representatives from our auditing firm are here tonight.
All right.
So I might put you on the spot if I may. The question that I had asked and we weren't sure the answer was, are you permitted to collect, if you will, aggregate 2 years of savings to the bank, or is it just a one?
And because we're doing this on an audio recording, just come on up there so we can hear your answer, but folks that are watching this recording or listening later, so they can hear it.
And your name, and just confirm where you're from.
And the firm.
Andrew Kaczynski from this Apache LLP, the Township Comm. Yeah, you're allowed to use any of the unused portion for up to 2 years, and it's aggregated for those 2 years.
So if next year we were in a similar position and we're under the 2%, we could add the delta between where we are and 2 to this year's bank?
It would be 18s and 17s.
Thank you.
Now, the 3.5%, that's the max that you can have in the bank?
That's the maximum. The 3.5% is consistent in the packet that you handed out. There's actually a local finance notice in there, and the standard amount that the division puts out from year to year. This year it happens to be 2.5%. Over the past few years, it's been pretty much consistently 2%, but there have been years where it's been 1.5%. There were a couple years back now where it was actually 0.
And I'm sorry, what number are you referring to right now? The amount that you're...
That's the statutory without passing the call ordinance.
So what we're referring to as the 2% increase, that's what you're referring to, that it's not always 2%, sometimes it's less, sometimes more?
Right, it's all, the 3.5% is consistent.
That's the amount of the bank?
Correct.
Okay. So in a year where it's 2 and you're not necessarily entitled to go in a bad year to 5.5, you still have that extra amount banked?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else with any comments or questions? Can I get a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 2018-003?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. So now I'm looking for a motion for 2018-003.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. We only have one resolution on the consent agenda, but can I get comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And usually the idea of the consent agenda is that we don't have to go through them individually, but I do want to say, just for the record and for Jake out there, this one resolution on this consent agenda is the You Drive, You Text, You Pay distracted driving crackdown program that's going to be in. Is that going on this week?
Well, the inclusive dates are from April 1st through the 21st, but it's federally funded project, so, you know, we'll schedule our people up within that period, and then, you know, we have to report back to the federal government with our numbers.
Yeah. So it's a crackdown, but it's something that you should always be mindful of, but anyway, just to let folks know that there might be a little extra scrutiny, but you should be doing what you always do and hopefully not text and drive and just drive distracted. All right, we have one standalone resolution tonight, and that's Resolution 2018-039. That's authorizing the sale of vehicles, equipment, and found property, and that'll be sold at the Somerset County auction. And Judy, what do we have? What do we have for
All
sale?
kinds of goodies.
Sounds like a game show here. What do we have for them? Look at that.
So
Snow blowers. Do we want to sell that yet? Okay, just curious. Brush hog. All right, couple police cruisers.
We used to do the auction ourselves,
Mhm.
and it's a lot of work, and the county now does it, and they'll take all the equipment, and they'll do all the notices, and they'll do all the auctions and the bids, and then they just send us a check at the end. It's really nice. So now we participate with the county.
Oh, and there's a sweet Ford Excursion, low mileage. We won't look at the right-hand column, but, all right, any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
This requires a roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Bill list. Can I get a motion to approve the bill list pending the approval of individual invoices?
Second?
Roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Discussion items. We have a projector tonight, and Ms. Sullivan has put together some slides to discuss the 2018 municipal budget. So
Try to make this short and sweet. I'm
I'll
gonna turn the lights off.
pass this on to Ms. Yep.
Okay. Municipal budget, 2018. Pretty excited. We did it in only 4 meetings this year. That's a new record.
There's another new record, but keep going.
Keep going. So, total budget, which includes pretty much everything, $11,356,629. The proposed increase in appropriations this year, where's my little button, is an increase of $251,700 over last year, okay, which is about 2.26%. You can say that's bad news, that we went up $251,000 over last year, but then also our total revenues also increased just about the same amount, $251,707. So that's what's really saving us in this year's budget, is that increased revenue that we had. It's a whole $6 difference between this year and last year, so. Down here we have, you can see a comparison of the municipal budgets. You have the municipal budget, which is the amount to be raised by taxes locally for the township, and then the second line is the library taxes as well. So you can see that put together. You can see the differences going from year to year, 2014 to 2015 and so on. And in 2018, I forgot to put 2018 up there, but it is 0%, and it's actually $6 less than last year.
So Jake, you're going to write that down as
I gave
not
him
a
a
zero,
copy.
but we came in $6 short, or not short, but lower.
I gave him a copy. So, where does budget funding come from? It comes from 3 main sources. It comes from surplus, which is like our savings account. It comes from the revenue that we take in that consists of fees, from state aid, from grants, some miscellaneous revenue, and then, so you can see here, it's made up of our surplus, which is a major portion that we used this year. We had some miscellaneous revenue. These are things that come that we're not expecting throughout the year. Our state aid portion, which has been pretty much the same over the past 10 years or so. Our grant revenue, which is this little purple section here, not very very big. And then our UCC, what does UCC mean? That's our Uniform Construction Code fees from our construction department, and that's this section here. So that's what all our revenue is made up of. That, you subtract that part from our $11 million, and what's left is this section, which is the amount to be raised by taxation. So it's about 66% for taxes, 15% was surplus, and 18% was the other revenue. So that's what makes up our budget. Portion of the budget funded through property tax is reviewed annually in Bedminster and throughout Somerset County by reassessment, and all properties have an on-site reassessment every 4 years. The total value of all property in Bedminster in 2018, I don't even know if I can say this number, is that billion? $2,452,215,475, okay? It's actually a decrease from last year of 0.19%. You'll see residential homes increased, vacant land increased, commercial properties increased, and utilities increased. But our farm properties decreased 4.63%. So overall, we did take a slight hit of 0.19%. Down the bottom here, I have a little chart of just how you get to know what a tax point is, and you take the total assessment of all the properties, divided by $10,000, so that's $245,221, and when the budget increases by that amount, your tax rate changes by 1 cent. So that's a tax point. A big portion of our budget is always the capital improvement fund, which is what we use to do a lot of the big projects in town. Some of them are funded totally through the budget, but a lot of them have grants and other funding that we use to subsidize those costs. We have a pavement management plan this year, $225,000, but we're going to take $75,000 out of our I'll call it our capital improvement fund savings account, our surplus in the cap. So it's only costing us $150,000. We have building upgrades of $35,000. We are getting through our shared service for court. We have a contribution coming from Bernardsville and Peapack Gladstone for a small piece. We have Hillside Avenue is one of our big paving projects this year, and we estimating $277,000 for the full project. Part of which we did an ordinance tonight for part of the engineering, but we will be getting $190,000 grant from Department of Transportation. So the overall cost is only going to be about $87,000. We have some public works equipment that we are going to be purchasing this year, some of which will be subsidized through some of our open space, because some of the equipment we use to maintain the open space, we're going to use a small portion. We have some money set aside for our fire equipment for the 2 fire departments. We have some money we're going to put aside. What we call is a sinking fund. It's going to be a savings account for future purchases with the fire departments. We have $32,000 in our police department this year for some purchases, and about $10,000 for some technology and equipment upgrades. So total almost $850,000, but we have almost $300,000 in grants and other funding. So the total cost in our budget to the taxpayer is about $551,000. So that's our capital budget. We also have a lot of shared services that are helping fund some of that revenue that we talked about on a previous slide. We're a firm believer in the shared services, and we participate in quite a few with some of our neighboring towns. We share a tax and sewer collector with Far Hills, an IT manager with Far Hills. Our DPW department takes care of Far Hills. We have a shared municipal court now with Bernardsville and Peapack Gladstone. We have a senior van that we share with Peapack Gladstone, and we provide lawn service and snow removal to the library here in town. We are also a receiver of some shared services from the Borough of Peapack Gladstone for both the sewer utility management here for our pumping station, which is right here on Miller Lane, and for our collection system, which we have a small pumping station over behind the library, and then our complete construction or collection system throughout the town, all the underground network of the sewer system. So that's from Peapack Gladstone. I'd like to point out some of our savings, how we got to a 0% increase. Our debt service this year is down about 6.35%, a little, almost $45,000. We're down with our bonds and our Green Acres loans. Our capital projects, even though we were about $551,000, it's about $24,000 less than last year. And with the shared services that I just spoke about, this is since 2014 savings, but you can see all three towns have had considerable savings, $228,000 just with our shared court. So I think that's a great savings that we've had with that project. And then we have a new contract that's just new in place, as I mentioned, with Peapack Gladstone, and I really don't have the numbers yet, but we anticipate some good things from that this year. The portion of the municipal budget funded by property taxes is divided up between all the property owners based on the value of their property. And if you take the amount to be raised by taxes, which is this number right here in 2018, and divide it by the total assessed value, which is this number here, and multiply that number by 100, you get the municipal tax rate. So here's the amount to be raised by taxes divided by the total assessed value, multiply it by 100. This is the municipal, which includes our local tax rate and the library. So it's 0.306. To get our total local rate, you want to add, this is the local rate, 271, plus our open space, 015, plus the library rate, which is 035. So our total municipal rate is 0.321. Okay, now that doesn't include the county, that doesn't include the school. This is just the municipal. I'd like to show you where we end up if you add in the county and the school. I have little stars next to their numbers because they're estimated at this point. I don't have their final numbers yet. But you can see we do project a slight increase over last year, primarily from the county and the school, but again, they're estimates. So it could be very similar. It's just an estimate at this point, but you can see how we kind of have gone over the years. And lastly, the average home investor in 2018 did go up a little bit, $455,802. Which is the average between residential properties and also the farms. Okay. Each taxpayer pays their fair share portion of the amount to be raised by taxes, and of course that's determined by the property's assessed value. So, to give you an example, if you take the $455,000 average value of a home, divide that by 100, you get $4,558. And you would then multiply that by the tax rate that I just showed you on the 3.321, which is the local tax rate. And so the average municipal portion of the tax bill is $1,463 right here, which is actually down a tiny bit from 2017. So the average tax bill, if I put in the full rate, which was again shown on the last page with the estimates from the county and the school, the average taxpayer is probably around $6,400 here in Bedminster. So that's what makes up budget. And I don't think I have anything else. That's all I have. So any questions or comments or?
No, this would be an opportunity to For the throngs in the audience, if they wish to come up and have a question, this is the appropriate time to ask a question or make a comment or any of the above.
Okay, well, this will be on our website. If anyone has any questions, feel free to give me a call.
And the budget adoption is scheduled
For
for,
Monday, our next meeting, the 16th of April.
all right. And I'll say it again, we have said that, Judy said this is one of our shortest budget seasons that we've had, or short budget processes that we've had in recent memory, but, this town for a long time, as long as I can remember, has taken the budget extremely seriously. And we've always said in recent years that budget cycle isn't January through April, it's all year round. And if you look at the folks sitting, not here, but over there, our administrators, our department heads, they take that seriously all year long. They're working harder to find ways to save money. They're working harder to make things more efficient. And then it all comes together for us in a couple months at the beginning of the year. We ask them a lot of questions. We ask them a lot of questions all year round, but they're the ones that are making it happen every day, making the town efficient, getting the roads plowed, keeping the streets safe, keeping the staff ready to go and giving good service to the town. So, again, this is something that the whole team of Bedminster was able to do, and I'm very pleased that we were able to do that this year. All right, thank you for the presentation. New business. Got the new business, old business. Old business, Hillside Avenue.
So, actually, earlier this evening, the assessor gave me his preliminary report, which I think is up there on the dais. I'm not going to go over his numbers at this point. They're preliminary, but he has given a fair market value, and I'm not sure, Mr. Bellardo, what we need to do next, now that we have a number from the assessor.
We will reach out to the property owners.
Okay. So,
Or you can have an executive session at the next meeting and decide your course of action.
yeah, I just got this just before the meeting, so that might be a good idea.
The committee's pleasure.
Both the interested parties that want to be part of this transaction have reached out to me recently and said they're ready for whatever the next step might be.
Okay.
So,
All right, let's move on to Farmers Market.
Farmers
Mr.
Market.
Jacob.
Farmers Market. Okay, so the Farmers Market, we are now complete with the invitation letter, the registration packet that's actually up on the website. Thank you, Judy.
and I think they're being assembled as we speak.
And they're being assembled, and they'll be mailed out and emailed out to our initial prospects for farmers and vendors for participation. Right now, the initial list is about 38 or so local farmers and other agricultural producers in the area. There's actually been some additional inquiries that have come into the farmers market, and as additional inquiries come in, those invites will be going out as well. And it's just interesting. I was finishing up some of the materials and the invite list on Saturday, and I just happened to check the farmers market email at bedminster.us, farmers market at bedminster.us, and sheer happenstance, an email came in as I was checking it, and it was from the woman who writes for and publishes Edible, New Jersey, and said, "Dear Farmers Market, can I confirm that you guys are on for this year, and can you let me know your start time and your start date and your end time and end date?" Got the email out to her right away. Also sent her a copy of the invite and the registration packet so she can distribute it elsewhere. And it was just crazy because there haven't been too many, it's a brand-new email account.
Yeah, it's
so
brand-new
there's-
email address.
So it's not well publicized, and the fact that it just, she happened to, this woman happened to send an inquiry right when I was in it was kind of remarkable.
It's meant to be.
Yes, meant to be. And so we know that there's been additional inquiries coming through the website, so having the invite and the registration packet up there. We'll be meeting, actually, let me just say that the registration packet, we are requesting that responses come in April 20th. The Ag and Farmers Market Committee will be meeting after all the packets have been returned, either through regular mail or through email back to the town. And we'll convene and hopefully make some decisions about participation. And it's all a go for June 2nd. And it was interesting at the last farmers market meeting, Taylor James, who runs Flipside Farms up here on Spook Hollow, said he was at a ag meeting in the county, and people were asking him about participation on the farmers market. So it's really neat. I mean, here, we're just putting it together as, initially as concept, but there's buy-in through the local farmers. And, I just throw out to everyone, if there's farmers that or that you are aware of other vendors that you would like to see participate, direct them to the website or just go on the website yourself and shoot those registration materials out there. So it's a go as far as we're concerned. All right, that's all I have.
It better be, everything's out there.
Yeah, everything's out there.
Well, as a kind of temporary member of the Ag Committee right now, I've been attending a couple of the meetings, and the work with the newly formed Ag Advisory Committee and Chairman Moreski and some of the members of the Environmental Commission that are working on this, and Mr. Jacobs' leadership, it's very, very impressive to see this all come together. There's an awful lot of work to be done, and it's going to be something new. And it's really fitting when you look at the seal that we have a farmer's market. So I thank you for everything that you've done so far, and we look forward to a very successful farmer's market coming up real soon. Hopefully the growing season will support all that. Yes. Hopefully we get rid of the snow and we can grow things. So
we'll talk to the farmers and we'll see if this rain is doing us good.
Yeah.
Or not.
All right. Well, tremendous. Thank you. Short-term rentals. Anything new on that since we last met?
No, I mean, I think the way we left it was we were just looking to see if it was going to get any more traction throughout the township. I haven't heard of anything come in, and I don't know where the zoning enforcement is. I just don't know.
From what I understand, that process, it's wending its way. I don't want to comment from the dais on what's going on with a specific complaint, but it sounds like that's moving forward. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. All right. And with that, we have the second and final opportunity for public comment. Again, if you wish to comment, come up to that podium and that microphone, state your name, your address, and what's on your mind. All right, seeing none, we'll go to Township Committee comments. And we'll start again with Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. Larry, great job on the farmers market. I'm excited for it. Those are the types of things that you want in your town. And I had the opportunity, we talked about it earlier, about the basketball game from this past week, and it was neat. I mean, it was, from a personal perspective, it was interesting. I think everybody who wants to coach at the youth level should referee a game, because it gives you a different set of eyes to look through. It's hard work what they do. There's a lot of stuff going on. In fact, after the game, I remember talking to the fans, like, okay, who played well? You don't even know. You're just worried about the ball. But
does this give you a different perspective as a coach?
Oh, absolutely.
When you
I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm not going to say anything. 100%. That's why everybody should do it. But I think back just more from a township perspective. It was, that's why you got to love to live here. I mean, it was a great event. I can't tell you how packed that gym is. But it's not just the existing folks that use the school. I mean, there's folks in high school that come back for this event. It's a great time. It's for a great cause. The 8th grade trip. It was great. A shout out to Gerard Colonel, who was the other ref, who gave me my baptismal speech and got me up and going. He was great. The other thing I wanted to say, it was actually coming off of the agenda. It was nice to see so many social affair permits being pulled for our venues in the south, or in the R10 district there. I know we looked at the screen with Judy and saw the farm values coming down, and we have to, I think, collectively see what we can do, if anything, to try to make sure that, you know, we support that, and let's get those properties on the bounce back up. You know, social affairs, yes, you know, I know it's for certain causes, but let's get some more activity going on in the R10, and that'd be nice. I attended the chili cook-off recently. That was for the Somerset Hills fundraiser. It was held over at Hamilton Farms. Great event. Again, it was just great to see action going on in that part of town, and you know, more folks to come. So it was all good stuff, and look forward to trying to do what we can for the farm assessments going forward, see if we can get that turned around.
Well, I think you're exactly right. I think we may see something with the discussion on the master plan. There's also been an awful lot of effort and continuing effort with Essex horse trials and equestrian events in town. I know Ms. Moreski, being an old equestrian, she knows all about that. So there's a lot going on.
Was that
in that
old?
area.
Did you say old equestrian?
An experienced equestrian rider?
All right.
Or
They're parsing words now, man.
There you go. But there's a lot of effort to produce, and of course the farmers market. So
a young equestrian? I mean, that's also appropriate?
yeah.
Throwing out adjectives for you.
Seasoned?
On to Mr. Hickey.
I can't top that, Mayor.
I can get to that. So you know, top that. I don't know.
Committeeman Stevenson, given your new experience now, do you have a recommendation for tonight's game? Who's going to win?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Villanova's going to win.
All right. We have it on the record now. No, I just want to mirror your comments. You know, Larry, Chairman Moreski, I mean, it's phenomenal. Think about it. 6 months ago, this was an idea in the back of your head. To now have more than 40 folks interested in participating and more signing on, that's phenomenal from a cold start. So just congrats. I'm excited to participate, and that's phenomenal work. So thank you both.
Thank you. So, Mayor, just to follow up on your comment about the, you know, we did this, or we got this budget through in 4 budget sessions, but certainly no less intense discussions than when we've had 7, 8, 9 budget sessions. You know, most of our budget sessions went late, and lively debate associated with a lot of the numbers that were presented and the requests that came in and the evaluation. So it was, you know, we got it done quickly and efficiently with 4, and once again, credit to Judy, the chief, and John, and the rest of the municipal staff and our auditors, of course, for giving us guidance, some of which we actually followed. And so just thank you all.
Larry, you mentioned 4, right? 4 was in 4, and there's 5 of us. He didn't pick up dinner.
Oh, somebody else.
I'm on the hook.
She's gonna have to do that.
Yes, not a problem.
It's on video.
Happy to do that.
Does it have to be at budget?
No.
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 We don't need to have an extra session. That's no problem.
That's fine.
Well, I'll throw one more department head that also I think deserves some credit, and that would be the judge. You know, several years ago when we did the shared court, we hired a judge, and we hired her for several reasons. One was certainly her judicial temperament, which we were all impressed with when we brought her on board, but a byproduct, or I guess another thing that we considered, was her efficiency. And I think she's been a good leader over in the court, not just dispensing justice, but helping to make sure that it is an efficiently run operation for all 3 municipalities to participate. So I think that's not something that we should lose sight of. Ms. Tucci.
So this meeting is so representative of Bedminster. It's about teamwork. So we got some great news about the budget to great new events such as the farmers market, but it comes down to the team that everybody kind of has assembled from our public, who, you know, takes time to come to meetings, to all of our staff actually puts it into a framework so we can understand it, and Judy kind of goes through it. And we all do, what we can together. So I want to thank you, and working with you all is a pleasure, and for the public. It's a lot of fun, it's hard work, but seem to get it done. So thank you, Mayor, and all your hard work and leadership.
Thank you. And we do have an executive session tonight. There's nothing to be coming out of it as far as any resolutions or any matters otherwise. So I've said enough tonight so far. So can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll see you in the back in a few minutes. All right, are we back on video?
Yes, sir.
It is 8:17 and we are out of executive session. We have no further business this evening. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
My apologies to all Michigan fans out there picking Villanova.
I think it's a good pick.
Say what? Oh.
My apologies to all Michigan fans.
Who'd you have in your pool?
Tell me.
That's funny.
Iron Nova.
My pool